Welcome to this week's Cattwywampus Podcast. I'm Kurt Driscoll, your host. I would say that I have a special guest today, but really what I have is we had a hole in the calendar, and it was kind of like last minute, and I called my sister. No, it was. I'm really glad, Lindi, that you're here. And so we are going to have to edit out any comments that she says that would negatively imply anything about me not being Cattywampus.
Yes.
Or being Cattywampus at any point in time. But we don't have to go over how we met, because I met you when you were born. I told her she looked like a little Mexican kid when she was little. She was really dark and had really dark hair. And I told her that I got mad at her one day. And so, Brad, if you're watching this, like, your family never told you were adopted for 54 years. I traumatized my sister and told her she was adopted and that she was Mexican. Not that Mexican's bad. I just told her that she was Mexican.
And that my parents had been killed in a car accident.
Oh, I forgot that part.
And that mom and dad felt sorry for the little Mexican kid down the street, so they adopted me. And that... Then my mom couldn't find any pictures pregnant with me. That's what did it. So for a week, I called my mom and dad Mr. and Mrs. Driscoll, for a full week.
I got my ass beat on that one. I just want to say right there. So at that moment in time, I have loved and supported Mexican cuisine, Mexican people, and everything since then, because that one stung.
Yeah, it was a good one.
The fact that they couldn't find a picture of you was like you know, when you do a prank on somebody, like we're going to do on Richard the next time he comes in here. When you do a prank on somebody, it's great, but when then the just circumstances of life like play to that, like she couldn't find any pictures of you at that moment when you were in hysteria of her pregnant or you a baby.
Well, she found a picture of her pregnant, but you weren't in the picture. So I was like, how do I know that's not Kirk in your tummy?
Yeah.
So could not find a picture pregnant with Kirk, like anywhere. So, I mean, I hope I'm not adopted. I don't know.
You might be.
Look a lot like our mom, but.
Yeah, but needless to say, so... Anyways, I love Mexican people. It has nothing to do with that. So I just want to clear that back up.
Yes.
It's not there, but it was that was pretty funny childhood. So we had some good things. What's a crazy story if you want to share before we get in?
Well, you convinced me I could fly.
Oh,
and you put a cape on me.
How far did you jump?
Well, the shed. How high up do you think that shed was? Like a good 12 feet. Convinced me
so
I
I
could
started
fly.
selling early in life.
Yes. I believed you.
Yep.
The cape was magic.
Yes, it was. You
didn't fly.
You didn't twist it right.
You got your ass beat for that one too.
Yep.
That was bad. You shot me in the butt with a BB.
Oh yeah, but you got in the way.
No, you were trying to shoot the dog.
Yeah.
And I was on all fours protecting the dog.
Yeah.
Yep.
You still have that BB.
Right in the right butt cheek. It's
She's
there.
still carrying it around.
It's in there good. It's not coming out.
So.
You had your guns taken away for 18 months.
Yeah.
Yep, that was bad.
Yeah.
You've locked me in a chest before where Dad had to get, what are those big metal things?
Like
in like a foot locker. He locked me in a foot locker.
That's good.
You used to hang me by my pants on the door when my feet couldn't reach. This was like me 5th and 6th grade. It was horrible. Shut me in closets and turn the light off.
Oh,
you are what's wrong with me.
Oh,
you are
holy
totally
crap.
What's wrong with me.
So here's the thing: what she's gonna now, y'all are gonna feel sorry for her, and you're gonna want to send me to therapy. So I was Cattywampus as a child. That's what it was.
Yeah, very.
It was you brought out the worst in me.
Yes.
So, but we had a lot of good times.
We did.
Without a doubt. So really excited that you're here.
Thanks.
And I think that what you're going to share probably going to resonate with some folks really at a deep level for those that are hurting or those that are going through it or know somebody.
I hope so.
And so really at the end, you'll be able to get to share for that just directly speak to that person at the end. That's where you were, like, just to speak life and love and value into them to know that there is a way out. So what's that Cattywampus moment in your life? Not childhood where I was traumatizing you,
not childhood trauma.
But what is that Cattywampus moment you want to share?
So my Cattywampus moment happened at a time when it shouldn't have happened in life. I dealt with a major eating disorder, exercise-induced anorexia. Usually that happens when you're a teenager or in college. Mine happened after I was married, after I was a mother of 3. Like, how does that happen? I still no idea. But it was October 2005, which is crazy. This is October now. We're talking about it, of 23. So it was around Halloween, been eating a little bit too much Halloween candy and felt a little thick, got on the scale, probably hadn't weighed in 3 years. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? So it started off innocent. I wanted to have a better lifestyle, wanted to, something that should have been a healthy decision, turned out to be life-threatening for me. Wanted to lose 5 pounds, started eating healthier, started exercising a little bit more. 5 pounds fell off, and then it was, hey, I feel really good. I better lose 3 more pounds so I have a little bit of wiggle room. That ended up getting me down to 91 pounds, which was like 23, 24, 25 pounds for me that I ended up losing in all, which 5'2" frame, I'm not that big of a person to begin with. It was a bad scenario. And, you think all the time with people of just eat. I mean, that's all. My husband's name is Kip. That's all he would say is just eat, just eat. And as much as I wanted to eat, I was terrified of food. Like, absolutely could not put a morsel of food in my mouth. Most people, like Kip's like, just eat, just eat. And as much as I wanted to eat, it's like you're paralyzed with fear. I can't even describe it. It'd be like you standing on top of a building that's 100 feet up in the air and somebody saying jump. You're scared. You can't. It's petrifying. I absolutely could not make myself eat.
Because you were afraid you were going to gain weight, or you're afraid of just
Nope. I was afraid that 1 pound, if I gained 1 pound back, it would turn back into me being 20 pounds heavier than I should be. Like, it's just, my mind was totally screwed up. And it's kind of like, they all know you've been through Al-Anon. I mean, AA, right? Obviously. Yeah. So when you were going through AA, I went to Al-Anon. And I remember them in there saying, just separate yourself. You need a new playground and you need new playmates. Not that a drug addiction or alcohol is easy to beat, because I've watched that. That's no means as easy. The bad thing with my addiction is you have to eat. I couldn't go away from not eating. So, and it's every family get together, you eat. Everybody was watching me under the microscope. I mean, I was so angry at that time. Mostly I was mad at myself that I put myself in that position where my entire day revolved around, when am I going to get to the gym and run? It had to be on a treadmill because I had to see the number. I couldn't just go out and go for a run. All I would do is run. I found that running made the weight fall off of me. So I used to exercise maybe 2 to 3 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes if it was good. And now I was going to the gym and running 6 to 8 miles because I had to earn my food. I couldn't just eat. It had to be earned. And I had to see that at least 6 miles was on there to eat anything. I mean, I got so bad where, I wouldn't chew gum if it wasn't sugar-free. I wouldn't eat an apple for a snack in the middle of the day. No way would I ever give myself a snack. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, nothing ever to eat after dinner. I wouldn't eat any carbs at night, very few carbs during the day. So it was just, I was warped. My mind was warped where my whole thoughts and focus should have been on my children. I love my kids more than anything I've ever wanted to be in the world was a mom. And now I've got this perfect, beautiful family. I was blessed where I didn't have to work at that time in my life and became self-absorbed. It was the sickest, grossest part of my life that totally embarrassed that it happened as an adult. It was humiliating.
And when it's around like a food item and when it's humiliating from a standpoint, like what would it feel like if you're sitting there at a family dinner? Like what would that feel like?
Y'all were all staring at me. It was you were staring at me.
Were we all staring at you, or do you think we were all staring at you?
No, most of you were, but it's because y'all loved me. I know that. It's because you love me, but there was always comments made of, is that your plate or is that the kids' plate being made? Because my kids were young at that time. I mean, I hated y'all. I wanted to hurt all of y'all, you know. I wanted to seriously, like, and I think I have this from Thanksgiving in there of, for Thanksgiving, you know, we do mom's house, and then I have to go to Shirley's house afterwards, Kip's mom's house, my in-laws. I would pray I would have the stomach bug on Thanksgiving. Like, Lord, I know someone out there is sick and they want to be with their family. Let me throw up. Give it to me. I don't want to go. I mean, I would try to act like I was sick, and Kip would be like, no, get your ass in the car. We're going type thing. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to eat in front of all of y'all. I only felt comfortable eating at home with food that I had made with my size plates, my size bowls, because I knew how much food I was eating if it was on my plates and my bowls. It was hard eating out, especially in front of everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think during that whole process, did you learn about yourself, or what did you learn how to navigate through that? Like a couple of things.
One thing I learned is I'm not nearly as strong as I thought I was. You know, we come from a family that you get in there, you roll your sleeves up, you get it done, you make it happen, which I think is one thing that in my personality, I'm very competitive. So part of the losing the weight was, how much weight can I lose? Ooh, can I make the scale to go down 2 pounds this week? Like, I wanted to beat the scale. Like, it was crazy. I unfortunately learned during that time that I was doing lots of therapy. You know that. I was going to therapy 2 times a week with a Christian counselor, Miss Mandy. Totally saved my life. Don't know why she stuck with me, because I told her I hated her probably every single day. Threw stuff in there with her. I mean, it was horrible. Like, I would have a hissy fit like a 2-year-old would have in there, like a temper tantrum. Ran out of her office several times. She'd come out there and get me to go back in the parking lot, from the parking lot to go back in. It was either that or, I'm going to call your dad. Can you imagine? I'm like 30 years old at this point, and she's like, I'm going to call your dad if you don't come back in, and you're going to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I hate you. Go to hell, you know. But yeah. Eventually I would go back in because I didn't want to be taken away from my kids. So I learned that I couldn't do it on my own. I learned that I couldn't have the best of both worlds. Mandy taught me one thing that was the turning point that finally turned me around. Well, to back up real quick. And so my eating disorder began in October of 2005. November of 2007 is when the family had the intervention with me. You and Dean and the kids had just left. Y'all knew what was going to happen. And I was getting ready to go to Shirley's, and Dad called me into his bedroom. I'm like, oh, yay, I get to prolong going to have another meal I don't have to eat. And it was Kip and Dad in there, and they told me I had 2 choices. Well, first it was one choice that my bags were packed, and they were going to take me to the hospital and check me in. I went ballistic. The second choice was after Dad saw that I was about to have a panic attack and conniption fit, because I told him, and I meant it, if you take me away from my kids, I swear to God, I won't put one morsel of food in my mouth. Do not take me away from my kids. So the new deal I had to make that day was therapy twice a week at that point. This is when therapy started, because I've been 2 years into this eating disorder trying to tell everybody I didn't have a problem. Yeah. Which obviously I did.
You weren't as very good salesman like I was.
No, definitely not. Mm-hmm. And so I had to do that. And then Dad, being Dad, found me a dietitian that I had to meet with every single day. And I met with that woman, gosh, for probably 6 months every single day. I had to call her after breakfast. I had to call her after lunch, and I have to call her after dinner. And then I had to meet with her for an hour every day too. So like, thank God I didn't work at the time, because this was my full-time job, was trying to get myself healthy. But I met with, her name was Judy, met with her for 6 months straight. Judy stayed in my life for about 1.5 years. Mandy stayed in my life as a therapist, working with me for probably 6 years. And she's still in my life today, just as a good friend. But this lasted 12 years. You know, it was long. Yeah. It was a long time.
So what's your biggest takeaway from that time period? Of all those things.
I am so much more than a silhouette. That's one thing that Mandy taught me is my life's not defined by a number on a scale. No one's going to come to my funeral one day and say, oh, you know why I liked Lindi? Because she was so tiny. Wasn't she so just fit? No one's going to say that. So Mandy said that to me one day, and that kind of flipped the switch around. And another thing that helped me was she told me, I have 2 daughters, Shay and Kipling, and she said, if Shay and Kipling were hungry, would you not feed them? And I was like, no. She was like, so start parenting yourself.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I learned how to parent myself. And when I didn't want to eat, I would say, okay, you're starving right now. Yeah. This is an egg. Shay, eat the egg. Kipling, drink the orange juice. And that's how I had to do myself. I had to act like I was parenting myself for a long time.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's where the things that we tell ourselves, I mean, especially when you sit there and think about it, is like you're starving, but you're telling yourself you don't want to eat. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, our minds are a battleground every day, whatever it's addiction or depression or just attitude. Mm-hmm. And we were having a conversation beforehand here about just the world in general, right?
Yeah.
But it's a true state. I mean, it's true. It's like we're our worst enemy at times. And 100. If we don't have anybody in our lives walking through it with us to bounce those thoughts and ideas off of, we don't know how jacked up we are and how cattywampus we really, really are. So what are your, I call them double Ds. You don't have double Ds. But what if you had a set of double Ds, right?
Right.
So if you had a set of double Ds.
How do you know they aren't double Ds? No,
I was going to say, okay. No, but it's really, we've
what are your double Ds, Kirk?
Huh?
What are double Ds?
Double Ds are your daily disciplines. Like, what are those 2 or 3 things that you do today that you didn't do prior to that keeps you balanced?
I start my day every day with scripture. I do my Bible study. It takes me anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, depending on how much time I have that day or how extensive it is. I would not be here if it was not for God. I was totally pissed off at God during all of this because I knew he could fix me if he wanted to fix me, and he was choosing not to at that time.
Or were you choosing not to fix yourself?
Well, I think it was a little bit of both. And I think when I get to heaven one day, I can ask him, hey, why did it last 12 years? And he'll probably tell me. And one reason it might have is, you know, I own a gymnastics facility. And now that I've walked through it for over a decade, I have so many girls now that I am able to help. So, and that I wasn't doing that at that time. Didn't own the gym at that time. So maybe that's why it lasted. But yeah, I mean, could I have stopped myself? I'd love to say yes, but I couldn't make myself eat. I was paralyzed by fear. And God could have totally changed it at that moment if he wanted to. And
But can he change it if we're unwilling to accept his grace?
No.
So it's like, is it like surrender?
It is a surrender. Yeah. I see your point.
I'm not trying to tell you what you're saying is wrong. I'm just saying.
No, I know. It's like the guy you had the other night at one of the functions that we went to, how he was saying that all of a sudden, like, God just changed him overnight like that. I had prayed for that moment so much. And he's saying, hey, I've never met anybody else that it's changed overnight for like that, you know? Oh, yeah. I mean, it was totally me being afraid. I just wanted God to take that fear so that I could take the step.
Yeah.
And I learned through that process, one thing my therapist told me, she's like, God's big enough to take your anger. If you're mad at him, tell him he already knows you're mad, Lindi. Tell him you're mad at him. He can handle it.
Yeah.
And I think that was freeing for me too, just to be able to say, hey, I'm angry. But like I said earlier, I was mad at myself that I had put myself and my children in this situation.
Yeah. So scripture, what else?
I parent myself every day. There's days, look, I'm a woman. I care what I look like. I care what my figure looks like. And that's a balancing act. I have to say, okay, is this my eating disorder? Or is this me just being a human, you know, a natural human of wanting to take care of myself and have a healthy lifestyle? So I still exercise. I eat good still, but I can't tell you the last time I weighed myself, which I used to weigh myself 5 times a day. I'd strip down in the middle of the day and weigh myself. So I think it's just parenting. Like, I wouldn't want my girls to do that. So I literally every day scripture and how do you want to parent yourself today?
Yeah. Well, you know, the interesting thing is like parenting yourself is kind of like a change of mindset And I know you got people in your life that are holding you accountable to those things, right? So it's like, hey, I'm going to do things this way now,
Yep.
versus doing it another way or another time. So that's pretty cool. So if someone's watching, they're thinking, oh, it's you have an eating disorder, or life's going to suck forever. Like, how epic is life right now? Like, what?
Oh my gosh, so freeing. Like, I love myself, and I'm a fun person. I mean, you know that. I am a fun person.
That's why I'd lock you up and shit.
No.
So that's like, get out. You know, I don't think. So if you're watching this, she's not fun. She's annoying.
I am
annoying.
Fun. I am
not fun. Annoying. Just ask her kids or her husband. She's annoying.
But I think, like, I lost that love for life, and it is so back. And I don't care if I get to exercise, and it's okay if I eat ice cream 3 days in a row now. You know, I mean, I'm gonna make healthy choices, but I like live by the seat of my pants again. I mean, I used to lay in bed, and every night I would have my entire 7 days of food planned out. And if something deterred from what I was thinking I was going to eat, oh, all shit hit the fan. I mean, it was like World War III at my house with Kip. I don't know what we're having for dinner tonight. I never thought I'd say that. I have no clue what I'm having for dinner tonight. Probably not McDonald's. Might be on the toilet if I had McDonald's, but you know, it could be anything. It could be Chinese food, which is high in sodium. It could be, let's go, I don't know, anything. I'm
you're
fine.
not, your life's not being controlled by what you eat or how you eat.
Not at all. And that is so freeing. I enjoy family get-togethers again. Like, love them. I love our family vacations again, where we all 12 go and do stuff. It's just, I don't worry anymore about anything. You know, I want people to get to my funeral one day and be like, she was so much fun to be around. It wasn't, we can only have a salad. You only can have sugar-free gum. So, yeah.
That's pretty boring.
It is boring.
Yeah.
See, I
might need to eat some ways like that. So,
yeah.
But I need to parent myself better, I guess, on my eating app, because I love ice cream.
I know you do. I do too.
So you got a book that's sitting there talking about how epic stuff is. What's it? Right here. Finally Free.
Yep.
So, you know, it's my kind of book because it's large print.
Exactly.
Without a doubt. But what, you know, what would you tell? And most of this is all your journal entries is, you know, it's like, I love it, page 25, when the shit hit the fan.
Yeah, there you have
right?
it.
Like, so we're just going to say it the way that it is. And so if you know someone, or you are struggling personally, or just want to kind of get a perspective on how to overcome the bondage of the fear and the lies around an eating disorder, there's a great book out. You can buy it. You can buy it here for, I don't know, we'll sell it for $50.
No,
and because this
you'll keep all the money.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep all the money because, you know, she would want me to do that, so we don't lock her up in any closets or anything.
Yes.
But where can they get the book? Where can they get the book?
You can go to Amazon and click on books, and then just type in "Finally Free Lindi Polk" and it'll come up. Perfect.
Well, let's try to empty the shelves out on Amazon, but we're gonna have all your contact information, and as well as a link to this to Amazon. I don't know if we can probably put that in the
sure.
comment section or the description section of the video, so folks can get it there for you. So as we wrap up, if you'll look just into that camera and speak directly to the person that's where you were and where you were, just, you know, that fear and that, what would you want to share with them that's possible so that they could get to where you are today? What would you say to them?
Oh my gosh. First of all, you are loved. God loves you so much. You are wonderfully and perfectly made in his image. So the fact that you're not happy with yourself doesn't mean that God's not happy with you. I would say the thing that helped me the most is you're so much more than a silhouette. You need to know that. And you are so much more than a number on a scale. I would encourage for you to admit you have a problem and to get help and not wait 2 years like I did. I know you feel stuck, but you're not stuck. Life is so good and so epic, as Kirk says, on the other side. And You've got people rooting for you and loving on you and cheering you along the way. And if you don't, I would love to be that person for you. So I think that's what I'd say. You can do this. Don't give up.
That's pretty awesome. Well, like I said, we'll have all your contact information so that they can connect up with you on social media or buy your book and get to know you. And or you can reach out to me. And we all live here in Alpharetta, and we'd love to catch up and get you connected. So thanks for being here. Thank you for being transparent. I'm sorry about any childhood trauma that I caused, but if you act up or annoy me, I will continue to still do those things.
I know you will. I know you will.
But thanks for watching today. Check back next week for another great episode of Cattywampus.